Let me tell you my story in English. I have always wanted to learn this language and become fluent in it, but I kept postponing it for years after years. I didn't focus on this goal. And when I think right now, I understand, I guess I wanted it, but not that much. This was true until the point that I realized if I don't start learning this language right now, I would never learn it in the future as well. Then everything changed. I shifted my mind and I decided to enroll to an English course because I wanted to work under a schedule and with a teacher. And I guess I was lucky because by that time I was determined to learn this language and I met with the best possible English teacher I could ever meet, Kami. And one of the great things about working with him was he, of course, taught us a lot of English rules, English tactics, as well as many other life skills. But from him, I learned how to learn English, how to learn a language. And in these videos, I share with you those invaluable information. This is the second part of Improving English Completely Alone and free video series. On the first part, I talked about grammar, listening, and I gave you an amazing pronunciation tip. If you haven't seen that video yet, make sure you check that video first from the link up here. And when you finish watching that video, come and continue to this one. Because in that video, I share a lot of great stuff which will help you to improve your English dramatically. And at the beginning, I plan to share with you reading and writing comprehensions in this video. But I saw if I combine those two in one video, this is gonna take a lot of time. So that's why in this video, I will talk with you reading, how we can improve our reading, and I will give you a reading technique which will help you to improve your reading, which will improve your pronunciation, and which will make you a better speaker. And if you wanna learn that information, keep watching the rest of the video. So, when it comes to reading, your best friends, as you can imagine, are gonna be books. You should read about whatever you want. It can be novels, short stories, science fiction, art, literature, economics, politics, or anything else. It doesn't matter actually. This is related with your own interests. And reading books is not only about working on your English skills. This is also most fundamental and most important component of your mental diet. And this is the most nutritious, healthy mental food you can ever consume. And I have a video named as Fix Your Mind, New Mental Diet, and I explain the details and the importance of reading books, listen to educative podcasts, and being careful about our choice of reference group and so on. And in this video, I also explain the background psychology of these kind of things. If you haven't seen that video, I would highly recommend you to watch that video, and I will put the link of that video to the descriptions. If you want, you can go and check it. So let's turn back to our topic. I said reading is important and reading books is important actually, but there's the technique. You are not going to read books with your eyes. You are not going to read books with your inner voice, but you should read books out loud. You should articulate every single word and every single sentence you encounter. Here's an example for you. Micro-testing involves using inexpensive advertisements to test consumer response to a product prior to manufacturing. And this technique is amazing for improving your pronunciation. And I will explain to you how this is going to improve your pronunciation in a couple of minutes. But also this technique is amazing for making you a better speaker. Because if you want to be a better speaker, you should use your mouth to produce English sounds, words, and sentences as much as you can. And if you work on this math skills, or let's say speaking English skills when you are reading, when it comes to speaking, you will already have practiced speaking a lot and you will realize that ease and you will see how smooth you can speak. By the way, let me warn you before you start this habit, when you first start reading out loud English habit, you'll feel that your throat is getting burned. And to prevent this, I would recommend you to have a glass of water with yourself while you're reading, and preferably a hot water might be another appropriate approach for you. So let's say you start reading the books out loud, And when you are reading the books, as you can imagine, you will see a lot of new unknown vocabularies. And the thing is, if you can't understand the meaning of that sentence because of that vocabulary, you should go and check that meaning of that vocabulary. But if you can't understand the sentence, or if you can predict, if you have a guess in your mind about the meaning of that sentence, you don't have to learn the meaning of that specific vocabulary. And when you want to learn a new vocabulary, you are not going to translate it into your native language or to any other language. There's a method of learning new vocabulary, and let me share it with you right now. Let's say you are reading the book and there's a vocabulary, and let's imagine the vocabulary is carpet, and you don't know the meaning of that vocabulary and you can't understand the meaning, and you want to check the definition of that vocabulary. At first, the thing you should do is you should open Google from your computer or from your phone. And when you open the Google, to the Google search bar, I want you to type down that vocabulary, in this case, which is carpet. And as you can see, the Google will give you some definitions from Oxford Dictionary. As you can see, there are noun definitions, more than one, and there are verb definitions, again, more than one. And some words also contain some adjective definitions. And on the bottoms, you see there are some example sentences, including that specific word you are searching for, and these example sentences will help you to understand the meaning more. So, before you start checking the meanings here, the thing you should do is clicking that speaker button here. And when you click that speaker button here, the Google will give you the pronunciation of this word in British English. And then when you click that button, you will see on the screen there will be another clickable bar named as Learn to Pronounce will occur. And then I want you to click that bar as well. And when you click that bar, the Google will lead you to another page, and on this page you will have two options here: American pronunciation or British pronunciation. For example, me, I try to learn every single new vocabulary in American English, so that's why I click the American pronunciation. And then again, I click that speaker button here, and the Google gives me the pronunciation of this word in American English. When I hear the pronunciation, I repeat it once more with my own mouth, and I say carpet. And then once more, I click that speaker button here, and I repeat the pronunciation again. I say carpet. And only after that, I go back to the previous page and I start checking the definition of this word, or definitions of this word. As you can see, there are more than one definitions, and there are some synonyms. And the thing you should do is understanding which definition is the most appropriate one with the context you read this word. Let's say you find out this definition is the most appropriate one with the context you read, and you right now already know the pronunciation and you know the definition. You go back to your book, you start reading the sentence from scratch, and this time you pronounce the word carpet in the true way, and also you know the definition of that word. So you keep reading that sentence and you move on. And on this page you see there is a translate to chosen language section. For example, let's say German, and the Google will translate this word into its German form. And the thing you should do is turning off this section, because you never ever want to translate a new vocabulary into your native language or any kind of other language, because we aim for fluency in English. And if you want to become fluent, you should learn to think in English. To learn to think in English, you should learn the definition of everything in English, and you should learn every rule of English in English. Basically, you should just use English to learn English. This is non-negotiable, and this is so crucial, because if you get into the habit of translating, at first you will recall that word in your native language when you try to say it in English, and then you will switch it, translate it to English, and then you will pronounce the word and say it. And this prevents you from becoming fluent. You will all the time become choppy because there will be a process of recalling this word in your native language and then translating it and then remembering the pronunciation and then saying it. You'll be like, I want to buy a carpet for myself, and then I will go to kitchen, and then I will do this and that. You will become choppy like that, and we don't want that. And if you ask, okay, I try to learn the definition of that word or other words in English, but I can't understand the definition because there are some other unknown words in the definition as well. Now what should I do? The thing you should do is, you should learn the definitions of those unknown words by using the same exact method. But if you ask, Mert, this is going to take a lot of time and this is hard. Yes, friend, this is going to take a lot of time and this is hard, but nobody told you this is going to be easy. But this is the correct way of learning English. And let me warn you, when you first start executing this habit, reading out loud in English and learning new vocabulary by this method as I explained to you, you will want to throw up because you will be like, I read for 1 hour and I can only read 1 page. What the f*** is that? This is so boring and this is so hard. Yes, but you should remember this is a skill, and every skill gets better by making practices. And if you continue to reading like this, gradually you will realize you start reading 2 pages in an hour. And then maybe you will realize you start reading 3 pages, and then 4, and then 5. And one day you will realize you can read 10 pages in an hour by using this method, and one day you will read 20 pages in an hour. And this is the level we want to achieve together. This method works, and this method is the best way for improving your reading, improving your pronunciation, and improving your speaking skills. This will make you a better speaker. And if you can stick with the habit of reading for 1 hour per day every single day, stick with that, go with that habit. And sooner or later, you will realize how you improve different components of your English by using this reading technique. And in the beginning, as I told you, this is not only about reading, or this is not only about working on your reading skills in English, but the more you read books, the more you will realize that you change your personality, you change your way of thinking, and you change your belief system, because the more you get exposed to information and knowledge coming from different sources, coming from different authors, you literally become a more wise individual, and you start thinking clearly, and you shift your life, your personality, and everything you own in a better way, of course. At the end of the day, you will become a better individual if you execute this habit. So, as I told you, you don't need anybody else to work on those skills, work on those methods, and you don't need to spend a single cent to work on those methods, except the fact that maybe you should buy some English books, because books are not free. But if you say, I don't have access to English books in my own country, or they are so expensive in my country, for example, in my country, English books are so expensive, I know this is not the most ethic and moral behavior, but there are a lot of free PDFs in the internet, man. If you don't have access or if you can't buy English books, you can find those PDFs, you can read from your screen, or you can print those PDFs and create your own book. There are not excuses, there are only limiting beliefs. And this was the second part of this video. On the next chapter, I'm gonna talk about writing, and maybe I will add vocabulary into that video as well. I'm not sure right now. I will see its length and then I will decide it. But as always, thank you for watching me in this video. If you like what I'm talking on this channel, you can subscribe to my channel, like my video, share it with your friends and with your loved ones. And if you have something to say, we can meet with you at the comments down below. By doing those things, you will support me, that's for sure, but this is going to be beneficial to you as well, because I record educative videos on YouTube, And if you do those things, the YouTube algorithm will show you more educative videos. You can learn many things from them and you can enjoy them later. Other than that, take care of yourself until next week and bye.